Hi beauty fam, welcome back to MikiCarrBeauty. I'm MikiCarrBeauty, and on my channel I love to talk about luxury skincare, beauty, and sometimes luxury goods. And today we are doing a review and chit-chatting about the new Suqqu Summer 2023 collection. I picked up almost all of the pieces except for one, and so I'll be reviewing this look and the green quad. This is the purple one, which I have on my face, and a courting blush and lipstick. And then I have a review of the green quad with the lipstick. So if you're interested in learning more about this collection and seeing the demos and hearing how I got this look, then keep watching. But before we continue, please remember to click the subscribe button and all, and then comment and like below to help out engagement on my channel. I would appreciate it so much, beauty fam, because I'll notice that a lot of on my analytics that a lot of you watching aren't subscribed to my channel. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click the subscribe button and like while you're below, and it will help me out. So with that out of the way, let's begin.
The Suqqu 2023 Summer Collection became available Friday, May 12, 2023. The mysterious brilliance of opal with glimmers of dancing jeweled tones. Its unique color-changing effect caused by the diffused reflection of light inside the stone, glistening as if the colors were at play. This collection is evocative of this unique beauty that changes depending on the viewing angle and movement. Inspired by the glittering shine of opal, illuminated by bright summer light, adorned with iridescent pearls and kaleidoscopic pearlescent shimmers, add a captivating multifaceted radiance to your look this summer, showcasing the nuanced fluctuation of color. This is the first time we're seeing this limited edition pearlescent white cover for all of the collection. It's usually in black. And this first quad we're seeing is Signature Eyes 126. Also Bicari, Prism Purple and Matte Mauve, featuring a mellow matte mauve color that creates a beautiful harmony with the iridescent tones of the ombre purple pink shimmer. This next one is Signature Color Eyes 125, Hika Rimai, Prism Green and Matte Brown. This palette features iridescent colors that change from green to brown orange and matte brown for natural depth and contouring. Contains pearls with an impressive shimmer and softness. And these signature color eyes are the current formula of Suqqu. The highly iridescent medium shade is expressed differently depending on angles and how the light hits it. These limited edition palettes feature playful matte colors. The interplay of different textures creates captivating eye makeup. I was able to pick up one of the Pure Color blushes, and I chose Pure Color Blush 141, Yume Matoi, the matte berry red and blue, pink, and light blue. And that blush is described as a matte berry red blush combined with sweet blue tone pink and light blue highlights for a touch of subtle flush to your complexion. And I took these shots outdoors. The first ones were inside with natural lighting, and then I got better light the next day. So I'm taking these product shots and swatches in outside natural light. And you can see that glitter topper is very light. Usually it's a bit more glittery, but for these products, it's a little bit more subdued, more as an inner corner highlight or crease shade. And definitely the star of the show are the pan of the duochrome multi-chromes on the bottom left for both quads. And the Pure Color blush is not a new formula. It's the original formula of Suqqu. They're no longer creating the melting powder blushes due to sourcing material issues. And this formula is just as beautiful as the melting powder blush. Often you can get 2 to 3 different colors, but this one is a swirl of marbleize effect so that you use all of the colors. Now these lipsticks are new. They are a new formula, and they're called the Marble Color Lipsticks. And these are balms, which is a new formula of Suqqu. They usually have a matte, a satiny matte, and then they have the wrapping lip treatment. So these are described as like a shimmering opal. Two colors with contrasting textures and luminosity are marbled together to create nuanced shades with a smooth, versatile texture. Exquisite color and texture that blends beautifully with the lips. And I was able to pick up both colors. The brown one is Casa Micha 101, soft beige and sheer green. An effortless soft beige marbled with sheer light green to create a chic brown. And then I picked up the second one, 102, Urabeni, which is described as a brown red and sheer purple. A deep brown red mixed with sheer purple for a soft, gorgeous rose red color. They're both really comfortable on the lips, and I'm looking forward to having more of this formula from Suqqu. And the opacity is pretty great. Usually with balms it can be pretty sheer, but the opacity of the colors went on beautifully. So I'm super excited to use this green quad, and I wanted you to swatch it to see how it looks on the fingers. And that deepest shade is more of a satiny matte. It's beautiful. So I'm using my Chikuhodo squirrel hair eyeshadow brush. It's one of my favorite brushes. It's really gentle on the eyes, and it can be used in multiple ways. So I'm going in using that orangey shade as my crease shade, and then going in with that duochrome and seeing, so I'm showing you here how it turns from a brown shift to a green. And I'm going to use a goat hair brush from Refer, it looks like. And the way I like to use Suqqu shadows, I don't like to use windshield wipers for at least placement for the mobile lid. The shadows for Suqqu are pretty ethereal and light, so I like to try to pack on the color as much as possible. And if I want more of an impact later on, I'm not using it because this is the first time demo, but I would use a glitter glue or Intensifies wand. And that neutral brown shade is so fantastic for smoking out. I really enjoyed that brown. Usually browns tend to be warmer, but the brown shade in this, it's more of like almost a brown with a little hint of green. And it smokes out really well. I'm using one of my favorite brushes, which is a Sonyuji crease shade, or mini shader, I think. And now I'm using the Lotus series. I can't remember. Oh, that's for the eyeliner. The bottom lid, it's also one of my favorite brushes. And just using the orange color to connect the look together. And the shadows performed really wonderfully. I noticed the formula is a little bit drier than I'm usually used to for the signature eye colors, but it doesn't mean that it didn't perform as well. It's just a little bit drier than what I'm used to. So I'm just deepening up the look with the deepest shade, using that brown as a liner. And then using the liner on top, that deepest shade. And then I'm going into that topper left shade. It's usually a topper inner corner highlight. And then using it as a crease shade, the eyebrow shade rather. Yes, you know what I mean. You're seeing what I'm looking at. And then looking to use it as a inner corner highlight. Usually these are really sparkly, but this quad, I think they made the rest of the three shades more subdued because they wanted the duochrome to really be the star of the show. And so that's the finished look without any liner. And then I'm just wanting you to see what a finished look with mascara and liner would look like here. And I'm really happy with the look. And then I'm going into my pre-summer Pure Color brush in 139. I did not get the release of the blush, of the Marbleized blush in this collection. I just felt it was too close to my complexion, And I am just in love with this 139 color from the pre-summer. If you are my complexion and you're always looking for the perfect bronzer, bronzer, contour in one, I would suggest getting that 139. Okay, so now I'm going into the Marble lipstick, the Balm. And I'm just showing you the packaging. It's beautiful. It's not quite gold. It's not quite silver. It's like a gold silver. The swirl is really fun, as you can see. And I've been always looking for like a perfect peachy nude that would actually work on me. These kind of colors are hard because it often doesn't cover my lip color underneath, but this does the trick. And then I'm going into the Makeup Forever liner. I believe it's called Coffee. And I just realized I probably need to line with this lipstick look because it's pretty nude, but it's beautiful. And that is the final look with the lipstick.
Okay, let me tell you what I finished up with this final look, the first Suqqu look that has the duochrome of the brown and green. This is probably the one I'm guessing is the most popular. And this is the one, I try to put most of that duochrome all over my lid. And I'm assuming this is, yes, this is the Signature Color Eyes formula. I ended up not getting the blush, so I just used the one from this pre-summer, which I think is a beautiful kind of neutral all year long color. I just love this color. This is my favorite blush so far this season other than the Chanel. And it's the Pure Color Blush, color 139. And it's not melting powder blush, but one thing for sure that I think Suqqu does the best is actually blush colors and then the eyeshadow quads. So I doesn't disappoint. I think this is just a lovely, lovely color, and I could keep going on with this. Just adding some more there. Beautiful. So I used 101, which is this marbleized green peachy brown, and I thought it was going to be more peach on my lip tone, and you can see it's actually pretty well. Maybe it is, it's just because I have pigment down. It's more like a brownie nude color. I don't think I have anything like this color in my collection. Let me do a quick swatch for you here. So that is what it looks like. It's so pretty. It reminds me of a color that I wanted but didn't work out in a Chanel Rouge Allure in the color Misha, which is actually my namesake. And that formula for Chanel didn't really cover a lot of my underpigment, whereas Suqqu formula does. So I think it's really beautiful. I think it's definitely something, at least for me, I have to put down a liner on. And so after I put down like that brownie nude liner, it looks beautiful. So I think it looks really beautiful with this look. I think this duochrome is definitely the star of the show. This one right here. And I'd be curious if anyone has any other colors like this in their collection. I do have to say that other than this shadow, I think I was really surprised. The rest of these three colors, they seemed very dry to me, which is not typical of the signature eye colors. The signature eye colors tend to be a little bit more creamy and slurry, but for some reason this seemed really dry. This one here, it felt like more of like a true matte, even though the finish is kind of more of like a satin matte. This deeper color here is more of like a neutral brown. That was fine. That actually performs more like a traditional signature color eyes. It's very smooth and lots of payoff. But these top two ones were very dry in terms of payoff. Usually I can use this one as a topper, and then I tried it and then it just, yeah, nothing happens. So what I ended up using, this top shade, it's usually the glitter topper shade, I just ended up using it up here and then the inner corner, and it's just fine. I'm just letting you know that because I've tried so many Suqqu quads, I can tell like the formula differences. It is still the signature eye color series, but this one seems drier to me, at least these top two ones. These, I'll be curious when I try out the other eyeshadow quad, this one, if it's also dry. Maybe it's just kind of this collection, I'm not sure, but it was a little bit surprising to me because I just did a review of the pre-summer, and those were definitely on brand and true to the signature eye color formula. Very slurry. It's almost, there's like an oiliness to the formula, so that there's a nice slip. But this was definitely drier, but the performance so far is still pretty. So what I finished my eyes with, I did 3 different things for the liner. I tight lined with my tried and true Wayne Goss Kohl, and I don't even know the color anymore because I've just gone down to the nub, but it's kind of like they're a neutral brown. It's this color here. I love it. It's like it's pretty creamy, but not too creamy. If I have liner that's too creamy, it'll end up going all over the place, but it's not. It's like a true kohl. And then this is my favorite liner. I use a lot of a brown liner instead of a black, especially as we get into the summer months. It's just, I think it's a nice alternative if you have brown eyes to use a brown liner, and that's the Surratt Autographique liner. And then tight lining, I don't know if you can see it, I'm using my House Labs Chartreuse. It's this one right here. And I just use that down here and the bottom liner to pop the entire eye look, because it's, this duochrome is definitely more of a chartreuse pop to it. It's not more of a traditional green. It's definitely, it's got a chartreuse duochrome. There's some blue in there. It leans very, not quite tennis ball color, but it's there. You can see it's got like 2, maybe 3 different colors on there. It's definitely some blue, some teal under there. And then for the lashes, I use my Giga Black by MAC Cosmetics. And then I love this cocktail because of my Asian lashes tend to be short, but I want them to be fluffy. I use the Chantecaille Faux Seals and then Gucci on, and then the Gucci on top. So it's like a 1-2 punch. Okay, so that is the final look. Let me know what you think. I think it's beautiful. You know, I love greens. Actually, it's a little warm because I'm wearing the one sweater that matches this color scheme, but I wanted to wear a color that matches really well with this look. And if some of you don't follow me already, go ahead and follow me, and I'll put the link up here. I actually love green eyeshadows so much that I have a green eyeshadows series on my YouTube channel. So I think I have about 4 to 6, definitely more than 4 videos where I've tagged the different green eyeshadows I've tried on and reviewed for you, because green is like one of my favorite colors, especially on my complexion and brown eyes. I think certain colors, when you have brown eyes, make your brown eyes pop, and those are the colors green, purple, and blue. So I have dedicated a series for green eyeshadow, so I'll link that up above and then below in my description box. And then for my base, I used the Suqqu cream foundation. I have them in colors 35 and 40. 35 is my winter shade and 40 is my summer shade. So I actually combine these 2 cream foundations quite often to cocktail for my perfect match, and I love it. This is definitely one of my favorite foundations in my entire collection. I love it so much that I actually keep this always on my top shelf, and everything else goes in a drawer. So there's something about that cream foundation with my aging skin and the undertone that works well, but moreover, I don't ever have to wear primer with that Suqqu cream foundation because it's so fabulous that it actually looks better throughout the day. It reminds me of the Chantecaille Future Skin Gel Foundation, where as throughout the day you look more natural, beautiful, but this is definitely like a level up. It reminds me of what the Chanel Cream Sublimage, really expensive foundation, was trying to do, with like kind of skincare plus a really beautiful coverage throughout the day. But it's got this like luminous finish to it. Can you see just how beautiful that foundation is? It's just one of my favorite foundations. And anytime I do my makeup and then I take pictures, I'm like, what foundation was I? It's that always the Suqqu cream foundation. It's not a foundation that everyone liked. I've noticed, like, I watched some YouTubers that didn't like it, but I'm not sure why. I'll let you know the reason I like it is because it matches my undertone as someone who runs neutral to warm. I'm Asian descent, so Suqqu gets the undertones right for some people of Asian descent. And I just have aging skin where I really appreciate that I can just use that product without primer. I mean, I can use any foundation without primer, but truly it is the only foundation in all my collection of, I want to say I have at least 10 foundations. The only foundation where when I don't use primer, and I don't have to because it's that beautiful going on. So, and it looks like this throughout the day, if not like, it actually looks even more beautiful as the day goes on. So you let me know what you think.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain.
So going in with a Sonia G crease shader brush with that mauve shade, and just using it to build up the crease. And the quality of the shadows is pretty good. You can see that it's spread, and I just ended up using a different brush to test it out. I'm using a Hakuhodo brush. And then finding a brush that'll be good for the duochrome placement. And so I'm grabbing here our Sonia G Lotus series brush. Those are really, I think those are called shader brushes to put on the duochrome. And I'm just building the multi-chrome duochrome on the shade because I want to see how much of an impact I can get out of this new shade and new formula. And as far as I can remember, I think this is new for Suqqu. I don't recall them having a duochrome, multi-chrome before. And if I were to compare this multi-chrome quality to the green one, this multi-chrome is better than the green one. I did not get creasing with the purple lilac shade after 6 hours of wear, but with the green shade, the multi-chrome, I did start to get creasing. And I applied both shadows in the same way. I usually prime my lids, and I still got a little creasing after 4 to 5 hours. And so using that lightest upper left shade as an inner corner highlight and adding dimension. And then going in with a Sonia G pencil brush with that mauve shade, and then connecting the bottom to the top to make my eyes bigger, and then using a Breffer 14 brush, trying to use this like the mini booster, which I couldn't remember earlier the name of it, but it's the mini booster, which is great for hooded eyelids or just increasing the outer corner shade. Just to build some shape. And then going into the deepest plum shade with a flat definer by Sonia G to create a liner on the bottom third of my eyes. And then I'll take the same color and put it on the top of my lids to add a bit of a soft liner and dimension. It's a really nice color. And then going again just to show you that duo multi-chrome, and I do like to do this with a lot of my shadows, just going in with one more pop with my fingers for impact, and then going into that highlighter shimmer shade for the underbrow highlight, and then also the inner corner pop with a Spectrum Katie Jane Hughes brush. Just adding more light towards the center. It's not too shimmery, which is nice.
Okay, so I finished my eye look. I spent a meticulous amount of time finding the right purple. And purple is probably my favorite color for makeup other than green. For my eye look, I tightline the bottom with the Gucci Amethyst color, which is the brightest purple here. I love it so much. And then I tightline with an Old True Milani eyeliner. I don't know if they make these anymore. The Stay Put eyeliner. It's a bit of a gel liner, but it's got a nice deep purple underlay. and I tightline with that. And then I have purple liquid liner, but it doesn't really look purple. I mean, it's like a deep purple. I was a little disappointed with that one. It's really hard to find purple liquid eyeliners that actually show up, but that's a purple liner that I finished with. And then used Surratt eyebrow, what is this called? It's the deep brown expressionist brow pomade. It's like a brow pomade where when I don't want to fill in my eyebrows, it's like the easiest thing to do, that's quick and easy and looks a little bit more natural. And then always going in with my MAC Giga Black on the bottom lashes, and then my 1-2 combo of Chantecaille faux seals and then Gucci on the top. So let me get in so you can see this look. It's such a pretty look, so springy. Definitely, again, the star of the show of the quad is the multi-chrome duo. It's definitely got purple, some blue shift, some frosty shift. I just love it. I mean, I'm not one to shy away from using my fingers on eyeshadow. So you saw me mostly use brushes, but when I want a little extra pop, I did that. And usually for these shades, I use these, you know, these kind of crease shades to get myself going. But because I've hooded eyelids, I like to go in at the end and, you know, maybe do a combination of these two and then kind of just really finish out the look and just capitalize on all the lid space that I have. So I ended up creating more of a smoky look, and that's kind of my thing, especially when it comes to purple shadows. I just love amping it up. So it's definitely, I would say it's definitely a duochrome, if not a multi, and I don't know if you can see it. So when I shift it like this, parts of it are pink, and then there's like a purple lavender shift. And here is the blush number 141. It's the red one. Oops, and that was the plastic cover. Really beautiful. It's a marbleized red with some blue and some shimmer particles. A high intensity matte blush partnered with a glowing translucent highlight color made with a marbled pattern to emulate the natural brilliance of gemstones. The blend of 3 colors creates a natural soft look and adds definition to the contours of the face with a glowing complexion. Now this is the first time I've seen marbling done for the blushes. They've done marbling for this is the melting powder formula, and they created this highlight in the melting powder formula, and so this is the first time I had seen marbling, but this is a highlight on this side, and on this side this is the pure color blush. I ended up not getting the brown one, and I'll put the picture here, the pure color blush 140 Iro Madoy. I wasn't gonna get both, but I wanted to try at least one. And for me, when I see brown as a blush, I'm either it's going to be really awesome or just not a good thing, because that color blush is pretty much like my skin tone, and I'm not about to spend $40–50 on something that barely shows up on me. So I took a risk and at least bought the reddish berry one to see if it actually shows up. So we're gonna test it out together. It does come with a brush, but I don't use them, so they go in my stash. Chikuhodo Z8, it's actually a cheap brush. So I'm gonna go into that and just swirl it all around. Okay, that went in. So squirrel hair brushes are really delicate, so I'll have to go in a couple times. It's not that it's a bad blush, it's just that I'm choosing to use not goat hair, just because goat hair tends to be more impactful right away, and I just want to see what it looks like with a gentle buildup of color first, and then I'll use goat hair on the other side. Very light, luminous matte blush when you swirl it together. So the thing about this formula, you can't separate the highlight from the blush. It's just gotta swirl all of it together. Okay, so that is what it looks like with a squirrel hair brush. No blush and blush. It's really pretty. Okay, I'm so glad this actually showed up. I was a little worried, I'll be honest, and that's why I didn't get the other color. Because it's a little red berry, I'm going to put more of the red berry back here just because it can be an intense color. Pretty. Okay, I'm grabbing a Cheek Pro from Sonia G. And this is definitely a squirrel hair brush with a bigger, like, bloom. I've been really shying away from goat hair cheek brushes just because, and it's so subjective for me because I have really sensitive skin. I can feel the bristles more on goat hair. So partially like it's the hair itself, and then partially it's like the person making the blush brush. I can feel like the individual hairs that are sticking out more. Whereas opposed to squirrel hair, I don't feel that as much. Okay, so I'm a little blown out. So what I'm gonna do is this is a whole morning I've basically been going to my window and pulling the shade down and putting back up. See, I was getting blown out. So what was happening with me being blown out, you can't see the cheek color, and I was like putting in blush on. I was like, it's not registering on the camera, but I know I can see it in real life. Like there's a lot of blush on my cheeks. Okay, so here is the blush with a goat hair brush. Super pretty, and I haven't put any highlighter, so you can see there's a luminosity to it. And also, like, my skincare and the products I use actually have a pretty natural glow. I think you can see more glow with the squirrel hair brush with the goat hair brush versus the squirrel. So I actually prefer the application of the squirrel hair brush. I just think it looks a little bit more buffed and smooth as opposed to like, that's blush, you know? I should go in here and buff it out. And that's just generally my preference. I've been trying more brushes lately, and I just prefer, I definitely prefer squirrel hair brushes. And I already have a lot of goat hair because I just built my collection around a lot of rougher and Sonia G, so I'm going to keep using those, but I definitely have a preference on what I use on my face as face brushes now, which is, you know, I just think the application looks a lot more like, we call it soft filter effect with squirrel hair brushes, at least in my experience. And then for quick payoff, but not as even of an application, you're going to get with this, with goat hair versus squirrel hair. I don't know if you can tell the difference. This just looks more soft filtered, and this is not as smooth. I mean, they're both pretty. It's like indiscernible to some people, but I can tell the difference because I look at my face all the time. The blush, I think it's really beautiful. Definitely berry. So I'm excited I got that. I'm glad it's showing up because there was a moment where I wasn't sure if these were going to show up on me. So this is a new formula, and it's called the Marble Color Lipstick, and I have both shades, and this is 102, the berry pink. So that is what the packaging looks like. It has the logo Suqqu. I don't know if you can see it right there. Suqqu, and then this is the color. So pretty. And this is a berry pink, and it has a satin finish. The formula is new, and it's a satin balm finish and a balmy lipstick. And when she said balm, I was like, I'm there. Some people don't like the balm thing going on. I love all balms and oils as long as they show up. And I'm a sucker for Suqqu just products because they just work for me. The shade is back up because the sun went away. So I am going to put on this lipstick, the marble lipstick, this balm. And let me do a little bit of a swatch for you here. And by the way, I'm using the Suqqu Cream Foundation again. Another just winner. I love it. I love this foundation. Beautiful. Gosh, I don't know how Suqqu does it. Sometimes with lipsticks and balms, I'll have to, even if I'm doing layers and layers of lipstick, you can still see my underpigment. But I pretty much just went 1 or 2 swipes, and the opacity on it, perfect. But it doesn't feel like super cakey. It feels almost, yeah, it's definitely a balm consistency. For, you can see, because I'm wearing a lot of purple and red tones, is almost a slight, it's not quite berry, it's like a definitely a red. There's some hints of warmth to it too. So let me pull out so you can see the lipstick with the look. I think it's so pretty. I am so happy I got this lipstick. I'm happy with the other color too for the balm. which was a peachy color. This I don't have to wear a lip liner because just of the color that it is. I think it's really beautiful. Okay, so that's the final look. I think it's gorgeous. Tell me what you think. I could see some of the purple coming through a little bit. I really hope that Suqqu keeps continuing to do this formula. The other formula they have is beautiful, but it's a little bit drying for me. So it's a little bit more matte, but the balm is just, it's like a cross between the matte lipsticks and then this, where it's nourishing. It's just a beautiful, beautiful product and formula. My final thoughts, and actually I forgot to tell you a little bit about the collection. So let me tell you a little bit about the collection. And I was on a call with Shumana about 2 weeks ago to talk about the Global Summer 2023 collection. And Shumana there at Suqqu, she's a brand specialist who's been with Suqqu for over 16 years. And she said the concept of this collection is inspired by color changing effects of gemstones. How the light reflects on it. Iridescent colors, sparkles inspired by gemstones, solid mattes with an iridescent shift. These are all limited edition collection items, and the treatment wrapping lip, which I love. It's a lilac blue and white pink purple, will be launched definitely in May or later than May. So we're in late May, so maybe soon it'll be released. So this color 126 is a plum mauve combination, and it's a soft plum blend shade. Plum satin matte, that's the deep purple. It's definitely a satin matte. It can definitely be built. It's so pretty. And then this mauve up here, it's a soft plum shade. That's what she said. And this here is an iridescent blue lilac special shade. So pretty. Okay, so this highlight up here is translucent, and that's pretty true. It was hard to actually swatch it. It was over here. And she said that can be used as a highlighter or a veil over the eye. So I actually did not use that. Let me try that. Okay, so with that blush, I don't think I need it, but I tried it. Okay, so she can use this as a highlighter or a veil over the eyes. I think I might try that again on an easy, like, one and done kind of day. Or you can tap the iridescence shade all over the lip. Oh, I didn't try that. Let's try. Ooh. Okay, I don't want to keep going back in with like fingers that are, I don't know if you can see the shift that this is having. Love it. I love that she had that idea of putting it on the lipstick, so it cools it down a bit. Ooh, I love it. This is the fun part of when you're working with a sales associate, a makeup artist. They'll give you tips that you never think of. So I definitely used that iridescent one on my lips. Ooh, that's so pretty. Okay, you can smoke out with this quad, and then that is true. At first I went light, but then when I started playing with this shade here, you can definitely smoke it out. So during the day, during daytime, it's a little bit smoky, but I wanted you to see, and that's kind of like my aesthetic for purples. I tend to like it just a little smokier. Let's talk about the packaging. So this is the iridescent white iridescent packaging. She says it's new, and they describe it as iridescent white pearly packaging. I love it. And there's like a shift depending on the sky. Like yesterday I was looking at this and filming it, it looked a little bit more green because it was gray cast or overcast, and then today it looks a little bit more blue with a reflective because it's a little bit more like blue outside. And then they have, and then we have the Suqqu lipsticks, which usually are in a black packaging, but this is a new formula. And just Suqqu means to stand tall, and that's why it's stacked. The logo is about standing tall as a woman, and Beautiful packaging. And then lettering is, I think it's silver, and then on this itself you have Suqqu. So great balms. And then I ended up just getting one of the blushes, and it's Marbleized. It's the Pure Color blush. It's a blush and highlighter in one, also the same packaging. Okay, so they described 125, the green quad, as two-tone color, a two-tone color green, and that's true. A green brown shift with blue. Yes, it definitely has a blue in there. It's more like a teal. I don't know if you can see it. And then there's a brown neutral, which is a really nice brown. It's a semi-matte color. And then the burnt orange is that warm tone right here. And then the highlight here, or a shimmer, and I didn't use this as a highlight yesterday in my video, but it can be used as a highlight, and I can again use it on my lips. I use that as an inner corner and brow bone highlight. The balms they describe as, this is a beige orange, and then this is the berry pink, a satin finish. I would say that's true. It's more like a balmy finish, and the formula's new, and definitely a satin balm finish, a balmy lipstick is what she said. She did say that this Pure Color blush is not a new formula, it's just a new collection. So we'll move to my final thoughts, what I think about the collection. I think it's wonderful. I am glad I got the pieces that I did. I don't have FOMO about not getting the brown blush. I think it's just fine, and you can see in my demo video with the green quad I ended up using, gosh, this has got to be my favorite blush this year so far. This one, color is this 139. It's like a blush contour, so pretty. I am so glad I almost didn't get this because I was like, it's not gonna show up. No, it's so beautiful. So if you're a medium tan and you get deeper and more golden, do not sleep on this blush. Like, it's just so beautiful. That's the thing with Suqqu, you never know until you try it if it's gonna be fantastic. And I just love that Suqqu comes up with like interesting color curations. They're always working on improving their formula. Like, this is a new formula, the balms are a new formula. Unfortunately, the melting powder blush formula is discontinued because of sourcing issues, but the Pure Color blushes, look how beautiful this is. And when I first started getting into Suqqu, and I still stand by this today, I still think their best products are their blushes. Like, I would say the best products are their blushes, then their eyeshadows, and then their lip products, and then probably their foundations. And I know that everyone loves it, but I tell you, I'll tell you what's on my top shelf. It is these cream foundations. It is like my favorite, and I use two different shades because I like to have it lighter on the front and then more shading for 40, and that happens with people of color. You have to actually tend to use one or two or three foundations so you don't completely get flat and like washing out the beautiful tones. Danessa Myricks talks about that in her tutorials. Like, you want to have and honor the shades and dimensions of skin tones, especially as it gets deeper. Okay, so enough about like color theory and makeup artistry. I think this is a beautiful collection. It's going to be available at Harrods, Liberty, London pretty soon. And I ended up going through Selfridges, and that's just kind of my tried or true. And if I happen to miss out on a piece of the collection, and usually I pre-order with them so I get things kind of put aside and I pay for it. The only downside is that they're pretty slow. And it's just like my thing. Like, before they used to be really fast, and I think it has to do with the pandemic. Like, I'm getting the products from Selfridges like a week later than I used to. So it used to be faster pre-pandemic. It's okay. I know things have happened. So it does get slower, and it's a little frustrating because if you don't know, like, having a YouTube channel, you have to like show the content really fast, or if it passes a window of when it gets available, people don't look at your content anymore. So that gets really frustrating for me as a content creator because I want to get this review up for you. And I notice even if there are products within the United States, shipping out to the Northwest and the Seattle area where I live is just slower. I'm like in the last of the frontier land. You just think of like Seattle, Washington, and Alaska. We're like the last of the frontier, and then Hawaii. Like, we just get packages way slower as opposed to people in maybe California or even East Coast. I see influencers who get their products like the same day of a release or like the day after or that afternoon. It's because they live in a big city, they're on the East Coast, and they're probably near a distribution center. Whereas I might not get my stuff until like 5 days to anywhere from a week to 10 days later. So that can be frustrating. But I would say, out of all my experiences of ordering Suqqu, I still stand by Selfridges. I think they have fantastic customer service. I email them, and I'll put the email here so you can see and below that you can contact the Suqqu team so they can pull aside the collection for you to pre-order instead of you having to go on the Selfridges website. But you don't have to use Selfridges. You can go on Harrods or Liberty London. I just pay the standard, I think it's $50 a year for free shipping. Okay, so that is the end of the review. If you have any questions, please email me or please ask below. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, or if you hung out with me, enjoyed the video. Please remember to give me a thumbs up below and comment and like below. It helps out engagement on my channel. Let me know if you got anything from the Suqqu Summer 2023 collection. They are available now at Selfridges, and I link affiliate links below if you want to. And then I think in June 5th, maybe June 5th or 6th, I'll put it below the links to Suqqu going live at Harrods and Liberty London should be happening. And sometimes they end up on Cult Beauty too, so you might want to check that out. So I hope that was helpful, beauty fam. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day wherever you are in the world. And as always, please be very kind to yourself and others, and just be you. Until the next video, take good care, beauty fam. Bye.